graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, this year did suck.
Fuck 2016.
Fuck you, 2016.
Fuck you, 2016.
Fuck 2016.
Fuck you, 2016. Bad year. Shit year.
2016. It's for you.
Fuck 2016. Fuck it a lot.
Fuck 2016. And fuck Donald Trump.
Fuck 2016. Again, fuck 2016.
Fuck 2016.
Fuck 2016. Fuck you, 2016.
Fuck you, 2016.
2016, fuck off.
2016 falls well below my standards of quality.
Fuck 2016.
Fuck you, 2016.
Hey, 2016. Go punch yourself in the dick.
Fuck this year. Fuck you, 2016. Fuck you, 2016. Fuck you, John Oliver.
Hey, 2016, fuck you! And hey, 2017, fuck you too! I hate you already!
Fuck you, 2016.
You're asking me! Fuck 2016! Fuck 2016!
2016. From the bottom of my heart, go fuck yourself.
Fuck you, 2016. Fuck you.
It's just a coincidence that you were talking about the Jack and Triumph show, and I'm here. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Hey man, this is Kevin Smith, guy who makes all those unlistenable podcasts over at smodcast.com, and you're listening to the Two Strangers, One Podcast. This is podcasting.
You're listening to Two Strangers, One Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes or on the Stitcher app for Android devices. Please visit twostrangersonepodcast.net. Now, here's Chris Cologne and Paul Pasquillo.
Well, hello and welcome to Two Strangers, One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
And Paul, fuck 2016. Fuck you, 2016. What a fucking shitstorm it's been. I don't even know where to start. There's so much stuff to go on. Of course, we're gonna dig deep into fucking Rogue One. I don't know if we should save that for the second half.
He's gonna dig deep.
I'm gonna dig deep into Rogue One because Paul hasn't seen it, even though he has kind of snuck in and saw You watched the ending though. But once again, thank you for everyone who've listened to the podcast. Any new listeners, people who found us on Facebook, people who found us on SoundCloud. I just recently, not just recently, I had made a comment on a YouTube video, and this was back in October, and it literally started as of right now, 456 replies. So,
what kind of comment did you leave?
It's a whole thing about this woman. That woman, she does videos for MTV, and they're always like racially charged. She's a black chick. I think her name is Jessica Lee. Jessica Lee.
Okay, whatever. Yeah.
And she does these videos that are we're left wing. I mean, I would consider us we're liberals, we're Democrats, and those people that are like extreme fucking left wing, where because she talks about how she's black and her husband's white, and that they haven't had kids yet, but how everyone wants to oh, your kid's gonna be so gorgeous, and so people are telling her because she's black and her husband's white that they're gonna have beautiful kids. And she's so liberal that she's taken offense to that. People are like, I get, okay, yes, it is a little insensitive, or it's a little, like when people who say that, they're not saying it to be racial. They're not trying to be hurtful. They're trying to say something positive. But when you're a fucking sensitive little fucking bleeding heart, everything people say gets fucking, misconstrued. And so she's like, now she changed the name of the video. It used to be Stop Fetishizing Mixed Children.
Okay.
Because people are like, oh, they're going to have such curly hair and light eyes and all. Now she actually changed the name of the video to The Many Problems with I Want Mixed Babies. So even though it started a fucking avalanche of comments, I've only been kind of sprinkling things here and there. Well, fuck it. I'm going to start pimping the fucking podcast. If I'm going to have 450 fucking responses, I mean,
what did you say though? What was your comment?
I had said, because she had said that black is beautiful or whatever, and I had said, oh, you say black is beautiful, but you married a white guy, and so was that stupid and kind of ignorant to say? Yeah, but I was just sometimes you watch a video and it's so like you just have to comment, and I purposefully wasn't trolling. I wasn't like saying I wasn't trying to be an asshole on purpose, but and it's
he was trying to be an asshole.
Yeah, I was trying to be an asshole. So I've been waiting for it to hit like 500 replies. So then I'm like, okay, well I'm the guy who started the first comment. So while everyone's here and I got everyone's attention, why don't you check out my podcast? Well, shit, if fucking,
Well, let me see. I'm gonna go up on the SoundCloud app.
We have been getting very, very good downloads, more so than usual. I don't want to say we haven't doubled our numbers, but we've if we want to say an increase, like 175% since we moved to SoundCloud. Much props to the Cinema Psyops podcast. There was a nice big bump after we got that.
There we go.
And of course, it'd be nice if Paul talked about this podcast on the Toonami Faithful podcast.
Whoa, wait a minute. I do that from time to time.
I haven't listened. I listen to Toonami Faithful podcast, but not as often as I would like. But when I do, I'm like, Paul's like saying all his stuff, and you could do my Ask FM, and you could do this, and then like say Two Strangers One podcast. I was like, you guys got like 2,000 downloads. Throw us a fucking bone over here on the show that we do once every other week. And hopefully soon I'll have, with my job, I'll get my nice bonus that I'm supposed to get, and I'll have Wi-Fi again, and we could actually record this when times are a little more comfortable, so I don't have to come to your house. But
you know what's really funny? What's really interesting though? You had I'm looking at, which by the way, you can download the SoundCloud app for free on your iPhone. So you don't necessarily need. You can actually. This guy forgets about
SoundCloud is on Android and on Android and Apple devices.
Windows phones as well.
And Windows phones, yes.
Or at least
SoundCloud is our new provider.
So here's the thing. Like most of these episodes, except for Goodbye Whatever, Podomatic.
Wow, the very first episode
it has like 17. It was like
garbage.
Fuck this shit.
The first episode had like no downloads, and then
so you have 244 plays, 483 plays, 364 plays, 313 plays, 429. That's
but think about it. When we were on Podomatic, we would have the first day when we were on Podomatic, the first day would have about 250 downloads, and then a couple sprinkling downloads, which means we have at least 250 subscribers. Which God bless you people. Thank you for downloading. Continue to come on and feel free to interact with the show. I mean, hey, a download is a download.
And here's the other thing is you should be commenting on your because what you can do is when you listen to it on your computer on SoundCloud, you can actually comment as you're listening.
Yeah.
So we would like to see a little bit of that. That's the same thing I say on the Toonami Faithful podcast. Like we would like to see that. Please do that. But yeah, it's weird because you got like.
Yeah, I mean, we got plenty of downloads, but no real comments.
And you only have like 18 followers, which is really weird.
Well, I think what had happened was people who were following us on one format
moved over.
I honestly, if we kept the numbers,
well,
here's
something.
That were following us on iTunes and or Stitcher, the numbers just switched over because luckily that transition was relatively smooth. Like I thought it was gonna be a fucking nightmare switching over from.
No, it's not. I mean, if you when you get. I mean, you don't have a premium subscription.
There's a lot of inside baseball shit going on.
I mean, how much space do you have for SoundCloud? You got the unlimited, right?
SoundCloud is unlimited. So
okay,
if you wanted to,
I mean, you could probably just go from number 1 all the way through.
Well, I could. I don't have access to the internet.
That's
I'm
true.
I'm slowly uploading. When I am in the library, I am slowly uploading videos to Facebook.
Well, the reason I say that is because as we get new fans on the Toonami Faithful podcast, people go all the way back down to the first episode and then come back up. So that's why I'm saying you'll get more. Like I have per week, I may have like 3,000 plays, downloads, and whatever. But that's including several podcasts.
Yeah, people going back and listening to the old catalog.
Yeah, so.
But that's what I'm saying is when I haven't had when I finally get a chance to sit in front of a computer, right now I'm in the process of uploading videos to Facebook. And let me tell you, Facebook has gotten so fucking strict when it comes to uploading videos. Okay, YouTube obviously has copyright content. Facebook is ridiculous. I had clips from movies and stuff like that. Oh, that's a friend of mine.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was wondering because I'm like, he's commenting 50 times. I'm like, I hope you know him.
Yeah, no. It's funny when people they want to comment, they want to have a whole fucking conversation on a thread, and it should have just been a picture. But we are having. What was it saying? So when I'm uploading on our Facebook on Facebook.com/2strangers1podcast, I'm uploading videos to Facebook.
Right.
And when you're doing it in a library, it's a bit slower, so it takes me 10 to 15 minutes to upload one video.
I actually, it's really funny because I actually did some work stuff today here, and I won't get into it, but basically I had to do something so that way I could start getting another person hired. But yeah, it's so much faster to do it here because sometimes it's like at a snail's pace at my work, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. So what happens is that when I upload the videos and then YouTube kicks it, I mean not YouTube, Facebook kicks them back and says copyright infringement. Like I'll have like a clip from a movie, 30 seconds, copyright infringement, and so then I have to go to the fucking complaint center, complain, and I have to keep saying fair use, and then after a day, then they let me upload more videos.
Right.
But
basically, so what's happening here is, and this is the same thing that happens with, like, this is why we don't do any video reviews really much anymore for like Toonami Faithful or Geeky. The problem is they get with YouTube's new system, and they keep upgrading it too. It's a lot more of a lenient system, which is good, because I think if you get one copyright notice and they actually, because what happens is when you get a copyright notice, and I mean like they take it off of all countries, you get that copyright notice, but then they also, what they do is they go in and they allow you to, you can contest it. And, like for me, I put fair use. I also put in there, which I don't understand why they don't get, why certain companies don't get it, but like for example, like Funimation, I get a ton of anime from Funimation, and we'll do a review, and this is how this relates to this. We'll put up scenes, we'll put up like parts of scenes. Obviously, when you go through the whole review, it's somebody narrating, it's a different soundtrack, so you're not hearing any voices in the background, you're just seeing scenes. But when we get to the end, we add a scene at the end, and Funimation doesn't usually have a problem with it. But what happens is YouTube goes, no, you can't do that.
Automatic bots catch it and say the copyright
No,
infringement.
and here's the funny part: like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, one of the reviews, and this is why we haven't done any more of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's only available in Canada.
Only Canada.
You can only watch it in Canada. And here's the fucked up part. Nickelodeon gave us permission to fucking do that in America.
Well, it's not. It's YouTube has automated. There's no human. And I guess if you were to have it, you would probably need a fucking office building. You would need like a whole floor of people to check out every single copyright claim. So they kind of have a robot not robot, but they're pretty sure they have algorithms that if you put certain words or whatever, it just automatically cuts it off or whatever, and then you fight it. Then I think you have to fight it before a human being looks at it. But that's, I haven't had a chance to upload the old episodes because I don't, every time I'm in front of a computer right now.
It was a chore to just put up all the episodes we had.
And Facebook right now, Facebook will only let you upload a video 45 minutes. You can't upload a video longer than 45 minutes. So I gotta take the show, cut off the last whatever, do the first 45 minutes, and then plus I gotta put the ad for my book at the end of it. So 40. It's every episode's 41 minutes plus the 4 or 5 minute ad for my book, and then I have to upload it to Facebook. So, that shit. This the whole reason I started this podcast to promote my book.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it was. Yep.
So, all right, let's go back to saying "fuck you" 2016.
Fuck Trump.
Fuck Trump. I don't want to get. We can briefly talk about politics. Let's not get in deep into it as much as we've had in the past 2-3 episodes.
My fiance comment. She commented on a different video. Okay. So
let's not get too deep into it, please.
Okay, so I'm not gonna get too deep into it.
Yeah,
that's what she said.
Let's not get too deep into Trump.
That's too far. So we found out finally that Hillary won the popular vote with 2.9 million votes. Obviously, that doesn't give you the presidency.
Tally, yeah.
And that's the worst that any president that's won the Electoral College has lost to somebody in the popular vote. It's really bad. So Trump doesn't have a mandate right now. We found
out about the Russian hacks.
Yes.
The Russians influencing the election, trying to discredit Hillary. Trump saying that he has no idea what's going on. Obviously, I think it's a bunch of bullshit. He knows what's going on. And they said, it's sad that my source, to quote, my only source on this situation was the fucking show, the Stephen Colbert Late Night with Stephen Colbert's Late Night or whatever. And someone had sent an email to one of Clinton's aides, Clinton's, support team, and they said, you have to reset your password. So then he went and he goes, this doesn't look right. So he went to another person on the team and they said, is this a legit email? And that guy said, said, yes, it's or I think no, he just said it's a legitimate email, but I think he meant to write it's an illegitimate email. And so then the campaign something or other rechanged his password, which ended up that was a phishing tactic from the Russian hackers. So that's how they were able to access all his emails and do all this shit and do all the stuff to discredit Hillary and so the whole entire election came down to a fucking spelling error. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, like, had that guy just wrote IL, it's illegitimate, Hillary would probably be fucking president right now. You know, World War III starts because of a fucking typo error. So, you know,
here's where I'm at, and I'm not gonna
future generations who dig up these archives and find our servers that find these videos. The World War III started because of a fucking a typing error, and typing is what we used to do when we used to try to get words onto computers.
So here's where I'm at. Okay, I will still post videos. I will still discredit Trump because I'm I'm desperately trying to give this man a chance, but every time I turn around, he's hiring a racist, a Nazi, wannabe white supremacist. He sits there and tweets on Twitter, and companies lose stock money because of this asshole. And I'm just
Linda McMahon is the fucking
small business.
In charge of small business. A guy who said climate change is a myth is in charge of a
guy that's. The Department of Labor, the guy that's in charge of the Department of Labor, that's going to be the Secretary of Labor, I guess is what it is, is against all the labor laws. So it's like, I'm sitting there like banging my head. Now, his Secretary of State, I've heard that there's some Republicans that have behind the scenes, like Condoleezza Rice and even Dick Cheney, like that encouraged him to hire him as Secretary of State, which this guy was the CEO of Mobile. I'm interested to see why that is, so I'm not so sure if I'm like...
Oh, you mean an oil mogul? You know, kind of...
Well, no, I mean, I'm not so... I'm interested to find out why, like, the likes of Condoleezza Rice would have suggested him. That's where I'm at. I don't care about Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney can suck my left nut. But see, here's my problem. You had Mitt Romney. I get that you Trump people don't like somebody that's an actual politician.
Yeah.
But you had Mitt Romney. I would have given you respect. I would have sat there and went like, all right, I will let you do your presidency. No, you go with somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm like, again, bang my head against the thing. Yeah. And here's the fucked up part. The people that supported him the most didn't get a position as candidate.
Yeah, Chris Christie didn't.
Rudy Giuliani didn't.
Chris
Christie didn't.
Yeah.
Like
and that was his fucking and then Chris Christie he put Ben Carson he put on, and like Chris Christie's like
Ben Carson is what was he? He's education.
Yeah.
And I'm like
that dope.
Everybody's like, even in CNN they're sitting there going, wait, stop. He's a doctor. Why is he not the head of Health and Human Resources?
Well, no, remember when they were having the debate and Ben Carson was just standing there, and they called his name and he's just standing there like a dope, and then Donald Trump comes up after him, and then they called Donald Trump, and all the time Ben Carson didn't come out. He didn't realize that this is a guy that's going to be in charge of education, the guy who doesn't realize, I should have come up on stage by now. So
look.
Let's not get too deep into this.
I'm trying not to get too.
Because whenever you go and then you pause, then that means that we're gonna go to fucking diatribe. I want to give this man a chance. Hopefully, we'll still be alive by the next election.
Hopefully we'll be alive.
The United States.
Hopefully, we won't be in World War III by the time we get to 4 years from now. But I will say this. I don't know. We'll see. I may end up moving to Canada if it gets really bad. Well, honestly,
so we had in the past couple days, about a week ago, just less than a week ago, we had the Electoral College come in and vote, and Keith Olbermann, who I don't always agree with Keith Olbermann because he's sort of like what I mentioned earlier. There's left wing and then there's far fucking left wing. He had suggested, look, obviously I'm not going to expect you to fucking kick your states in the nuts and say, no, we're not going to vote for Trump. He goes, but what you guys should have done is vote for another Republican, a more moderate Republican. Just say, hey, you know what? We're not going to vote for Trump, but we'll put Mitt Romney in there. Or someone to that effect. Someone who's a Republican which would made the look. I mean, of course, I'm pretty sure the people in the middle of the country would have lost their shit. But he goes, look, you save face because you're staying with the party, because they're not gonna flip the script and go fucking Clinton. That's a spit in the face to all the people that they're supposed to serve. And even though I'm against the Electoral College, I understand. He goes, but look, just vote a different Republican. And 37 people had to make that decision. And that's the odds were way not in the favor of not going to happen. People, 37 people were going to be convinced. Okay, and then even if they were convinced, then you'd have to have them all be on the same page, as if they were going to say, okay, we're all going to vote for Mitt Romney.
And here's the problem. First of all, there was one Republican that we know of that did vote for somebody other than Trump as a Republican. Mm-hmm. I don't remember who he voted for. It wasn't Clinton, but it was somebody else. But here's what happened. He tried to lead this cause. And apparently there were a lot of Republicans behind the scenes that wanted to change their vote. Mm-hmm. The problem that happened is that guy that said he was going to change his vote got so many death threats and everything that every person that was thinking of doing it decided not to, so that way they couldn't whatever, even though they were being silent about it. And I'll be honest with you, I think it tells you it tells you something that we as citizens can't vote the way that we want to, or we're gonna get death threats about it. Yeah. That's just sad. And look. I'm not saying that the Electoral College would have changed. It probably wouldn't have. But, it's kind of sad that people are sitting there giving out death threats and that. It's just, I am not looking forward to 2017.
Yeah, and then, staying in this, but moving on to the next subject, the inauguration. So far, we can't even get Trump, the middle of the country all voted for fucking Trump. They can't get celebrities. Obviously, people from celebrities tend to be more New York City, Los Angeles, East Coast, West Coast. Nobody wants to play nobody. Nope. I think, okay, once again, my sources are blurry, but I think they had said Elton John's going to do it.
Well, Elton John was saying that when he thought that, when he said that he was going to do it, when he said that during the campaign when he thought that Hillary Clinton was going to win. Mm-hmm. The minute that happened, they went, no, fuck it.
Yeah. Pence wants, Pence, a guy who fucking thinks that you can fucking electrocute people and fucking make them not gay anymore. What today they announced? Was it today they announced the Rockettes are going to be there?
It was maybe an hour ago.
But then again, the Rockettes,
all they do is just dance to something and kick their legs up.
They are, and I hate to say this, and I'm not trying to sound misogynistic or anything. They are faceless women. They are women that, I'm pretty sure. The appeal to whoever their boss is, and they go wherever their fucking boss is. The boss says you're gonna fucking do Radio City Music Hall, you're gonna do Radio City Music Hall. The boss says you're gonna do the Thanksgiving parade, you're gonna do the Thanksgiving parade. The boss says you're gonna do the inauguration, you're gonna do the inauguration. I don't know, honestly, I don't know who has been approved. The joke is, and it's getting to a point where I don't think it's going to be a joke anymore, it's only going to be like Kid Rock
and Ted Nugent.
Yeah. Those seem to be like the only guys they're going to, they're
not stupid. And we can actually lead this into something else political that doesn't involve Trump. How about the whole thing that's happening in North Carolina? Speak about 2016. Jealous motherfucking Republicans in the state of North Carolina. Not only did they, on the way out, have limited the power of the new governor because, oh no, a Democratic governor won, so we're just going to say, fuck you, you have to do everything, in a more we have to approve way. But basically, they were about to overturn that whole bathroom law.
Yeah, the transgender.
And they couldn't come to an agreement. It's sad. Like, you guys are going to... North Carolina is losing so much money right now. It's not even funny. People... I wondered why people were moving to North Carolina because... And I found out the other day that it's just cheap to open up a business there and everything. That's why a lot of businesses are going there. The reason people come to New York, for example, is there's a lot of tax incentives that have been put into place. Fuck that yogurt company that built and then 2 years later went to Mexico. Fuck them. That was in Batavia. I don't know if you remember hearing about that, but so what happened? So you're jealous about the fact that you're jealous of the fact that happened, that a Democratic governor was elected. So instead of being like, okay, fine, that's whatever, and letting things be the way that they are, you guys turned into fucking little crybabies and limited his power. I'm surprised he can't take that to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, well, they're doing it on the way out. That's
And here's the thing, like, I'm really trying not to go into rants, Chris, but down south, it is so bad now. It's getting more racist. These Republicans, see, look, yes, did they have a good ground game in some states? Of course. But in the South, they were limiting the vote as much as they possibly could. I've told you about, like, Alabama. I've told you about, like, fucking Florida. Same thing happened in North Carolina. They limited when you could vote. Certain time to certain time at certain polling places. Like, stop.
Yeah.
Stop. There should be an amendment to the Constitution right now that says, and I quote, if any state offers early voting, you are to have that voting place open from 9 a.m. in the morning to 9 p.m. at night so that anybody can vote freely anytime. And there should be nothing. And I guarantee you it's going to happen at some point. Okay? And I don't understand why we're not up in arms about that, why we're not up in arms about fucking Russia hacking us.
That's like, yeah, if the shoe was on the other foot and they said Hillary Clinton had assistance from Vladimir Putin.
Like, I literally want to take this mic and hit myself in the head because I feel like I'm not a zombie like the rest of these fucks.
People like, and these are the people, like, the middle of the country, 30 years ago, Russia... I'm not saying they were. I'm saying in the public opinion, Russia was the worst of the worst. There was the Cold War. There were the fucking commies. There were the Pinkos. There were people that were gonna nuke us and start World War III. And that was back then when it was just paranoia. That was just. I mean, of course, don't be wrong. Declassified documents show that they were trying to do some shiesty shit. But here we go. Their fucking president, who the CIA has said yes is involved. And the FBI has
17
said,
agencies.
A former KGB agent who is now the leader of the fucking nation has personally. It wasn't like, these were people in Russia and they were doing their own thing and they just happened to be in Russia. No, the big fucking top dog, the fucking king of the hill, fucking said, no, get this done, and so it's damn near scary that people hated the Russians back in the 80s, and they were the biggest fucking threat, and there was commies, pinkos, scumbags, and the tanks are going to be driving down fucking Main Street America, and now that but they made Trump president. Who cares? You guys are overreacting or whatever. You'll see. Once again, I mean, I'm saying it kind of like a joke, but I'm really fucking scared. But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, you thought 2016 was bad. Wait till 2017. People are going to be, you see these memes now on Facebook all the time. But you might be sitting there going, maybe George W. Bush wasn't that bad. Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see how far Trump goes. And fine, I would love to be proven wrong. I will say this right here verbally on the podcast. I would love to be proven wrong. Prove me wrong, Trump. Tell me, do something to show me that you're going to be a good president. And if you do, fine. I'll shut my fucking mouth. I actually put up on Facebook, I said, if somebody takes Trump's Twitter away for the rest of the time until he's inaugurated, I'll give him a chance. I'll shut up. I won't post anything about him. I'll do it.
Oh, yeah, the unprecedented. He misspelled unprecedented. He said China was doing something, and this is the most unprecedented event.
Again,
and he
slam my head.
Unprecedented, and it put unprecedented.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, motherfucker. The whole reason you're in power is an unprecedented event.
Yeah.
And he talks about how intelligent he is. He doesn't have to go to intelligence briefings. Yet, doesn't every fucking phone on the planet, doesn't every computer on the planet have fucking spell check?
He's still bitching about the election.
My phone won't let me type in the wrong word. I purposely have to go if there's a word, or like I'm trying to spell someone's name that isn't in my phone or whatever. I have to go back and type in a purposefully wrong name. He typed out unprecedented, and for whatever reason has his fucking spell check turned off. That's just it's
and it's kind of funny because like Bill Clinton the other day basically made him look bad. I call him Savage Bill now because he's at 307 electoral votes. I crushed it with 367 votes. So that's not a landslide, buddy. Yeah. And then Trump got all whiny. Well, Clinton did call me and congratulated me. And he's like, there's one thing I can agree with you on, Donald, and that was that I called and congratulated you. That's it. And I'm just like, Savage Bill.
And then right before we're about to go to our break, but I just wanted to bring up, I love how celebrities, and I don't know I don't have a list of exactly who. And don't get me wrong, we'll be right back and we're going to tear fucking Rogue One a new asshole. But I like how celebrities were saying, not only are they not going to do Donald Trump's inauguration. But the day of his inauguration, January 20th, January 21st, whatever day that is.
Oh, they're going to do concerts, yeah.
I mean, what I saw in the article, and I saw pictures, so I didn't get a chance, but they had a picture of Beyonce, they had a picture of Elton John, and they had somebody else. And I guess the rumor is that not only going to do concerts, they're going to do like either free concerts or reduced ticket concerts. So people will actually be at the concerts instead of in front of their TVs at home watching Donald Trump getting elected. So they're doing counter programming for the fucking election, which is fucking genius. And of course, you tell people, you can go see Elton John for $25. Oh shit, okay, I'll be there in a fucking hour. I mean, I'm not an Elton John fan, but shit, $25 as opposed to paying $150, $400, whatever for his usual show tickets. So I think that's fucking brilliant. And I think with that, we'll be back with more Dick and Fart jokes.
This episode of Two Strangers, One Podcast is brought to you by Comics Etc. 1115 East Main and North Goodman at the Hungerford Building, door number 8. Find out more information at comicsetc.biz or like them on Facebook at facebook.com/comicsetc1.
Did you ever see a film at such a young age it left you traumatized with cinematic wounds? Necrophilia. It's a dead issue, man. Don't push it. Cinema Psyops is a weekly podcast documenting an ongoing experiment on the mind of an unwilling test subject.
No one should have to watch this movie.
Oh, no one should have to watch this?
No one should have to watch this movie.
Surprisingly, it's not a topic that a lot of people really want to tackle.
I'm shocked, prudes.
I know, really.
Right?
It's the next sexual frontier that no one wants to explore.
I am, in the most sincerest of senses, disappointed in you.
It takes a powerful goddess like Connie, jam her arm down the monster's throat and kill it. Oh, I'm still tripping out over that. Even as a kid, I was like, I gotta find a girl like that. Every week, I get a new look of disappointment that I never thought I could get out of her.
Unimaginable. At 12 years old, you should not be watching this movie.
Obviously.
At 13, you should not be. 14, you shouldn't be. I'm not entirely sure even 17-year-olds should be watching this.
Just because you're offended by something doesn't mean that you have the right to demand that it doesn't exist. Watching this film again, I had all of this like little nerd glee with everything that kept
little
popping
history
up.
doll popping up
absolutely.
at you.
So I totally loved this film.
Hey, I know why you couldn't see that. It's because your brain's warped from watching this shit at 12 years old.
Yeah, this is a rough movie. I told you ahead of time when we were getting ready to do it that it was going to be a rough.
How did you watch this shit at 12?
Because physical wounds heal, cinematic ones don't. Listen to Cinema Psyops.
Click and Hit, enhancing the experience for all recreational smokers. Click and Hit is a one-handed portable vaporizer. This smoking pipe has a compact 4-stage design, complete with a built-in, windproof, butane refillable torch lighter. The large burn chamber holds your stash of legal herb or pipe tobacco. Click the button to ignite and inhale as usual. When you are done, put it back in your pocket for later. Smoke anytime with the touch of a button. No more carrying around grinders and tins. You can leave the pipe, rolling papers, and even your lighter at home. The Click and Hit cordless vaporizer is no bigger than a normal cigar, making it the world's smallest and most discreet vaporizer. It's perfect for use in small places or shared rooms. It's efficient, getting 5 to 8 draws from your packed chamber. It's affordable at just $19.95 each. Buy 3 and the shipping is free. Buy 4 and you get the 5th one free. Visit www.click-hit.com. That's clickandhit.com. And now for listeners of Two Strangers, One Podcast, you can use promo code STRANGERS and receive 10% off your purchase at clickandhit.com. That's promo code STRANGERS for 10% off your purchase.
And we're back, Paul. Okay, so I was gonna look through the list and say like all the people that died in 2016. Like there's actually the Wikipedia. There's actually like a.
There was a lot of people that died.
A lot of people that died in 2016, but I want because I'm looking at all these names and I'm like, where are all like the celebrities that? But it's a shitty year. For those who follow me on Facebook, I did have a death close to me recently. The woman who basically ended up being my daughter's godmother passed away when I lost custody of my daughter a couple of years ago. My daughter went into foster care and went into this woman's house. She and her husband, who couldn't have kids, were looking to adopt, and my daughter was the very first child that they received. That being said, they then me and the mother started getting our acts together, and we got custody of our daughter back. And I could tell, that kind of made her sad and stuff like that. And she had like 2 or 3 other foster kids since then, but like, when they got my daughter, they in their mind they had their hearts set on this is going to be the daughter that they're going to adopt. I mean, even though they didn't know me yet, but during that time I'd got to know them, and so it is, and I don't want to bring down the tone of the show. We'll get back to the more immature shit in a second.
How dare you?
But so it is weird to be recording this when like I should be in mourning. And, she was a super religious person. And it's funny how a person like me, like, I'm super anti-religion. I'm an atheist. I'm the first person to say it. But she was the kind of person that I feel, if you're going to be religious, this is how you should be. Because she never made me feel bad. She never looked down on me for being an atheist. She never looked down on me for not being, like, Christian-like or whatever. So that was a good quality that she had. She was what Christians should be. You follow your faith, and that's what you do. You don't make other fucking people feel bad about it. And then on top of other things, we're recording this on the 23rd. I'm 3 days away from my 5-year sobriety anniversary. And coincidentally enough, she was in AA. She was a sponsor in AA. She wasn't my sponsor or anything like that, but she helped guide people keep their sobriety, and she was very active in AA. And I know they say anonymous. She wasn't. She lived it. She didn't. It wasn't like she was trying to. She wasn't trying to keep her anonymity. So she helped champion my sobriety, which I will be hitting my 5-year anniversary in 3 days. And it was a terrible blow. And it feels weird we're coming here talking about immature, dumb shit. We're about to tear into a fucking Star Wars movie, for Christ's sake. But I just wanted to take a moment to kind of just talk about it. A little part of me is bummed, but I'm pretty sure she's the type of person that she would say something like, don't let this slow you down. Don't let this,
right.
Life doesn't get derailed because one person passes away. Keep it moving, be happy. My daughter upstairs is playing with Kelsia's daughter. They're having a good time. Follow the podcast is something that makes me happy. It's my therapy. All right, so let's get this.
Speaking of therapy,
let's get to the therapy. Let's fucking exercise some demons here.
Can I bitch about something for a sec?
Oh, okay.
It's not political, by the way. Fuck you, State Farm. Fuck you. The other day, so Kelsia, if you remember a couple months ago, she backed out and some girl went across the bumper. They pretty much said it was our fault, but it wasn't her fault. Bumper's still not fixed, whatever. The other day they call me and they're like, they want Kelsia's information. I'm like, what do you mean? Well, she was driving your car, right? And I was like, yeah, she was driving my car. What does that have to do with anything? Mm-hmm. Well, come to find out, they're like, well, you need to have her on your insurance and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, but you guys told me I didn't need to have her on the insurance. I asked you straight out, do you want me to put her name on the insurance? All I have is, I think, like, what, comp? Is it? The lowest thing I can get on it?
Oh.
So it's like, I don't really need that much. I'm just, because it's got over 100,000 miles on it. So at this point, it's really kind of just there as a car to drive.
Yeah, it's insurance.
So,
because the law says I have to have insurance,
I mean, unless, like, you have a loan on it, obviously you have to keep it. But, I mean, so I'm like, I threw a fit. I'm like, fuck you people. Like, you can't sit there and tell me that I don't need to put her on the insurance when you told me in the first place not to. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't fucking do that. So I called up State Farm and I said to him, you know what? Look, she only drives it once, maybe once in a while, and that's it. So, don't be calling me about this anymore. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like, and it really annoys me because it's like, it seems like these companies are trying to get more money out of you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And I think that's what State Farm is trying to do, because it's like, all of a sudden, because there was an accident, now you want her information. Oh, by the way, this is 2-3 months later. Like, why are you calling me right now? This should have been done like months ago. Like, I should have had a conversation about this months ago. Love how the heater just comes in. And I'm just like, so I'm waiting to see if State Farm will come back after the holidays and try to fuck with me again.
Yeah.
I will be having a long conversation with their corporate office if that does, because I'm going to say to them, look, my family's been with you before I even was born. And you want to try to pull this bullshit with us? Stop. Your agent said it was fine that I don't have to have her on the insurance. Now all of a sudden it's a problem?
Yeah.
Like, it's over. It's done. You're going to stop asking me. I'm not going to have any more questions. And by the way, you cancel my insurance, I'll put a lawyer in your fucking face. Because I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired.
It's like you could be loyal customers for years. years and years and years and years, and then something like this, which obviously didn't even lead to like anything serious, and then now all of a sudden they want to fuck you. So.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of sad I have to fucking threaten them to get them to do stuff. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm gonna tell you something. If I get another phone call about it, first of all, I'm gonna ignore the phone calls. Second of all, if they cancel my insurance, it's on.
Yeah,
it's on. So speaking of bitching, you have something.
So fuck you, State Farm. No, okay.
Yes.
So, and once again, this is. I had a lot more fire in me the other day before I had this death in the family.
No, we couldn't tell that from your Facebook.
I kind of, because you know what it is. Okay, I go to see the movie, and then the funny thing is, all right. So first, there's people. Let's
wait,
just say
wait.
spoilers.
First of all, fuck you for going to a different Regal.
Okay, well, okay, that was what I was about to say. Okay, well, before I get to that, let me just say this. There were people on Facebook, don't spoil it, don't spoil it, don't spoil it. I don't see it till next weekend. Okay, so I kept my fucking mouth shut for over a week. You had a fucking week to go see it. If it was that important for you, you would have fucking went to go see it. Okay, that being said, the night Rogue One comes out, upstate New York, Western New York, whatever the fuck you want to call where we are at, gets hit with like the blizzard of blizzards. And I would make it, okay, we've had worse snow here, but I'm just saying.
No, we had one last year. That was the worst one I've ever been through.
But that day, then here's the funny thing. It snows like crazy in the morning. And what I mean crazy as in I'm on the highway and I can't see 30 feet in front of my car. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. Then the fucking sun comes out. That's the crazy. The sun came out during the day, and I was at work. I'm at my new job. Thank you very much. And then, like, I get out of work at 5. Like at 4 o'clock, it fucking starts snowing again.
Oh yeah.
And then, so with that being said, it's the night Rogue One comes out. Fuck that. I've been waiting since I heard about this movie. I'm a Star Wars fan. And that being said, yes, I hated The Force Awakens when I first saw it. Maybe if I see Rogue One again, maybe I'll change my mind. But that being said, I said, I'm going to go see it. Come fucking hell or high water. So I'm over here driving through this fucking blizzard. And no, I didn't go to your theater. But why would I go across town? And I don't.
No excuses.
If the weather was fine, I would have went to your theater.
No excuses.
I went to the one that was literally a mile and a half down the road from my job.
No excuses.
And then,
do you hear what I'm saying to you?
No excuses. So fucking risk getting. And let me tell you, after the movie, and I'll say nothing was fucking more fucking anal clenching. My asshole, you could fucking make a diamond with. Because I was on the highway going back home with like 16-wheelers. Fucking like, because I'm trying, my cars are rear wheel drive, and rear wheel drive cars in the snow, you got to be careful because you could fishtail and shit like that. Yeah. So, and I'm on the highway and I'm not driving like a pussy, but I'm driving cautiously. But then a fucking 16-wheeler, in the snow, like, and whatever is behind me, I'm like, I'm going to fishtail, go sideways, and the fucking truck's gonna hit me, T-bone me, and I'm gonna be fucking dead. So the ride home was fucking terrifying. And I'm like, was fucking seeing Star Wars worth it? Especially that it's after the movie, so I'm pissed off because this movie sucked and I'm almost gonna die. If I die tonight, I'm gonna die very unhappy because I fucking saw the last thing I did the last night of my life. I saw fucking Rogue One and I hated it. So, so I go, okay, all right. Then I get to the theater. I gotta say, because I went to the second showing, because the first showing was a normal showing, the second showing was in 3D. I said, fuck it, if I'm gonna go see it, I'll see it in 3D. So,
was there a lot of people there?
Let me tell you, the theater was about 3/4 full for fucking a blizzard. And let me tell you, I've been seeing a lot of movies like the night I saw, like Doctor Strange the night it came out. I saw Star Trek Beyond. Doctor Strange, the theater wasn't even 1/4 full. Star Trek Beyond, I was like me and 3 other people in the theater, and that was the night it came out. That was the Friday night it came out. Star Wars. Now that being said, there was a whole event going on in the movie theater. The local Star Wars fan club that everyone seems to know about. It's sort of like an international one. It's called the 501. And it's supposed to be like your stormtroopers. But, you know, there's people dressed like stormtroopers, but there were people dressed up like Jedi, people dressed up like Imperial officers. They had like a legit R2-D2, not like, you know, and it moved and it beeped and it rolled and everything like that. I'm pretty sure it was remote control, but I'm just saying, I mean, you know, I took a picture with Boba Fett, I took a picture with R2-D2, you know, people full costume. Obviously, these people are big fans. So that was kind of cool. Seeing all those people, but I mean, it had nothing to do with the movie. You know, it was just local Rochester people who enjoy the movie. So I get to the theater, and then the good thing is that, like, since they knew people were coming in early, like, I got to the theater like 45 minutes before the movie. Because I'm like, I want to see it, because I left early expecting, okay, in case my fucking car drives into a ditch, I could kind of pull out and see if I could still get to the theater. So I get there, they let us in early. Like, you know, you bought tickets for the 7:45 show, and it's like 7
that's
o'clock.
what we did, yeah.
And I'm like, just go right in. I'm like, all right, bet. So I go, and I'm sitting, and mind you, I'm 45 minutes before the movie. There were people already sitting in the theater before me. But, you know, get a halfway decent seat in the middle towards, you know, the end, the back. And, but let me tell you, they fucking had these running lights, like, for the stairs that were, like, on full blast during the fucking movie. That's one thing I gotta say. That fucking thing, I should have went to your theater. Because them fucking lights were so fucking bright that I literally had to take my hat and pull it down over the sides of my head because it was distracting. It was so fucking... I'm gonna trip and fall in the dark. Well, then don't get up from the seat when you're in the fucking movies. Fucking people. But one thing I do have to say is the trailers started. And I think it's okay to have your phone out. And you know what? Even during the trailers is a little bit... Even the trailers, that's kind of annoying. I do have to say, the people at the theater... The guy told the woman, there was a woman in my row with her fucking phone. You're that fucking addicted that you go to the theater and you're gonna put a fucking phone in your face. He told her to put it away. Like, thank you, movie theaters, for doing that, because, you know, I mean, who knows? I don't know. I doubt you don't go the first night in the movie and still have the phone out during the movie. But
quick side story, I had somebody do that once. I mean, people probably do it all the time, but the thing about our theater is we actually have like a second floor balcony for handicapped people. It's not in every theater, but it's in like 6 of them. And I came in and I'm looking and I don't see really anybody. And then I look over to the left because there's like a right, a middle. Well, there's a middle and then there's a left. And I look down and here's this woman on her cell phone on the left-hand side. She was down far enough where it would have affected the people on the left-hand side, but it wasn't affecting the whole theater. But I went in there and I said to her, you got to put your phone away, man. Mm-hmm. I got people that have already complained. I need you to put it away. So, did that. And I think she still did it after I did it, but, you know, people just, like, think it's okay to do that. There's people that will talk on their phone while they're at the movie theater.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm at the theater. Yeah. I'm watching such and such. Like, those people, you know, need to be fucking hit with a spiked fucking bat. Those people need to be fucking bashed over the fucking head with a brick. But so the one thing, like I said, so the guy comes and tells her, you know, to put the phone away. Which, thank you, sir. You're good, sir. If you were the usher for the 7:45 show down in Henrietta, thank you, sir. But so, all right, so so now the movie starts. Let's fucking dig into this fucking movie. First and foremost, the beginning was slow. It was fucking boring. You know, they go, then, okay, in the very beginning, they go, here's this planet, and here's that planet. And because what happens is, you're watching, you know, in most of these Star Wars movies, they'll show you a planet, and then you kind of go to the planet. This one, they actually had to put words on the screen to let you know what planet it is. And like, none of these planets are fucking familiar, except for Yavin 4. And that's Yavin 4, even then, you kind of have to be a little bit more of a diehard Star Wars fan to know Yavin 4. And then they go, oh, here's the planet Jedha, which is where, like, the last Jedi temple. Oh, what did you know? The planet Jedha is where the Jedis are from. And it was boring and slow and all these characters you don't like. Okay, there's obviously the Han Solo type, you know, the rogue character. Once again, spoilers, people, so if you haven't seen the movie, you might as well turn away now. like he killed, like he's supposed to be like a rebel spy, but like what this movie's trying to do is it's trying to show that there's a rebellion, but I guess kind of like what we were saying at the beginning of the episode, there's a far left of the rebellion. There's people who say, look, here's the evil empire and we want him gone. Then there's other people like, well, we got to do shady, underhanded shit to get the fucking rebellion. You know, we can't play nice and get rid of the rebellion. So we got to kill people and we got to start. So like, you know, he goes and he kills, like he's talking to another person who's like part of the rebellion or whatever, and he has to kill, like he kills them just so like he could get away. And you know, and it's obviously such a fucking Han Solo type. And then they go and what's his face, Ben Mendelsohn or whatever is the architect, Death Star, and he has a daughter, and then the Imperial troopers show up, and then like. And it's like they have all these characters in the movie, and obviously, spoiler alert, we'll get to it, whatever. Spoiler alert, you know, everybody dies at the end. They all die because none of them are important to the story. They really aren't.
They're not important to the big story.
To the overall arc of the movie, they're not important. So you have no, like, if you even when you were watching the prequels, for Christ's sake, you're like, oh, okay, well, R2D2 and C-3PO, obviously nothing's gonna happen to them because we see them in 4, 5, and 6. You know, we know nothing bad's gonna happen to, you know, Obi-Wan Kenobi because we see him in 4, 5, and 6. You know, these people, they're not in 4, 5, and 6. So you know, for all intents and purposes, they're either gonna die or go into hiding. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's no middle ground. It's not like they're gonna stick around and see the rebellion. So then they go and, you know, they visit, you know, then they have these, okay, no, that's what I was gonna say. So then the guy who comes to the architect for the Death Star disappears, and they go to grab him and they hunt him down. And then they have the admiral, whatever the fuck you want to comes to get him, the Imperial Admiral comes to get him, stormtrooper. And you know what? Yes, it looks cool. He's a high-ranking Imperial officer. There's no black stormtroopers in the movies. You know what I'm saying? Like, why couldn't they, you know, like, oh, we're doing all this new cool shit, but later on we never see them again. You don't see black stormtroopers at all, you know.
Well, maybe what that is. I mean, obviously they'll probably somewhere down the line explain that in some kind of con or something.
Yeah, they're the elite squad. How many fucking elite squads? Because you had Clone Wars, and then you had, okay, like when you go to Clone Wars, and when you watch the TV show, and I don't really watch the show, but you had first in the beginning you had regular clones, Clone Wars, clone troopers wearing. Then here's the guy that has red stripes on his shirt. Here's the guy with the blue stripes, and then all of a sudden it gets to the fucking Imperial troopers from the clone troopers, and all of a sudden all the colors go away, and everyone's back in white. And I understand why they're doing it. They want to sell toys. They want to make it look cool. You know, yes, you know, the guy could have easily just shown up with fucking regular stormtroopers, but it's just like, you know, it's obviously such a ploy just to fucking sell toys.
I mean that's. Can I say something without you being offended?
Okay.
I think you're
being a little too sensitive.
I think you're being a little too sensitive about this fucking movie.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But let me say this to you. Okay, so if you've noticed, we'll take what we have so far. So we have the 7 movies. Mm-hmm. If you've noticed, and especially I would say this in I think the best Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi. So if you notice, the Emperor has his own stormtrooper guards.
Yeah, he has the Imperial Guard,
right.
The red ones.
So what I'm saying to you is it's not a far-fetched thing for this guy because he's a high rank. Now, I understand where you're coming from. I get it. You're a Star Wars. You're a diehard Star Wars fan. But hear me out here. It's not. You're taking this a little too far. When there's black, do you see black stormtroopers other than there?
No, that's all you don't.
Okay, so then shut the fuck up.
This is like the SEAL Team 6 of fucking stormtroopers, where you don't. They come out once and you never see them again. Am I being sensitive? Yeah, but I'm a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, but what you're not getting the point of is if it's the scene that I've seen in the trailers where they come upon the guy, the Death Star's guy. Yeah, somebody that's in the highest ranking of the Imperial Empire is going to have a lot of fucking support. And yeah, they're going to have a SEAL Team 6 fucking following them around. Yeah. So stop it. Stop. Stop your whining. Stop.
Right. Okay. I'm probably nitpicking. Okay.
That is nitpicking. Okay. I have to call you out on that.
So the one thing about this movie, okay, let me throw a positive out there. The one thing I do got to say about this movie is they pulled from a lot of sources. Where, like, when you watch episode 7 kind of, people say it was a reboot or whatever. there's nothing. They didn't say, "Oh, well, that's something from the prequel trilogy, and that's something from Clone Wars, and that's something from Star Wars Rebels." Episode 7 was its own thing.
Right.
The one thing I like, okay, the character played by Forrest Whitaker. That's a character that was introduced in Rebels.
Right.
And they brought him into the movie. I think someone had probably planned this for a while, and they knew. But I'm just saying is they brought in a character from Star Wars Rebels. The robot, the Imperial robot that's in the movie K2SO. I believe, and my sources could be wrong on this. I believe at least his model was from a video game, a Star. I think there's a couple of nods to The Force Awakens, the popular video game. Which once again, technically, The Force Awakens never happened. It's not canon, but there's nods to it. I think with certain names of characters, there's
Force Awakens is not canon. What are you talking about?
Not The Force Awakens. Excuse me. Pardon me. The Force Unleashed. That video game, The Force Unleashed.
Right.
A lot of people love those games, but unfortunately, those games aren't canon anymore. I'm sorry, that's what I meant to say. The Force Unleashed, names and stuff like that. And there's even, I think, nods to Knights of the Old Republic. And I think the biggest one, they, for the lack of a better term, stole a large part. The name of the project is called Darksaber. I think they called it the Death Star. It's called Darksaber.
Right.
Well, there's a book in the extended Star Wars universe that came out way before the movies that, was, and I mean, now, once again, is not canon anymore, literally called Darksaber, and written by Kevin J. Anderson, and this is a book that I actually read, I'm such a fucking nerd, that this movie takes a big chunk from and puts it into the movie takes a big chunk of the book, where in the book, like in the movie, and this has never been described before, they harvest Kyber crystals, and Kyber crystals are the crystals that the Jedis use to make their lightsabers.
Right.
It's the key component. So when they make the Death Star, they fucking harvest, they fucking mine and they dig and they dig and they get billions of fucking Kyber crystals, put them all together into the center of the Death Star, and the big major laser in the Death Star is essentially no much different than a lightsaber. And that's a fucking awesome idea, but then again, it really wasn't their idea. It was really from that book, Darksaber.
But that's fine. That's fine. They can take from another.
Because in that book, what they do is in that book, the remnants of the Empire, which it's not called the remnants, but whatever, the last existing lost tribes of the fucking of the Empire, build basically what is the Death Star laser without the Death Star, just the fucking laser in the middle of space, because it's easier to move, manipulate, and then it gets the name Darksaber because it looks like a lightsaber, except then it shoots. So I thought that was kind of cool that they borrowed, they took from a lot of sources from this movie. So being a Star Wars nerd, I did like that. I did appreciate that, because it's not like they're throwing away all this stuff. Oh, it's not canon anymore, it's garbage. They actually brought it in, which I think is fucking cool. Okay, this movie takes place on a whole bunch of several different planets. Why is it all fucking white people? And I'm not one of those people okay, when I go to see a Star Wars movie, I want to see fucking aliens. I want to see droids. I want to see Jedi. The only thing is, this is obviously after Order 66, so the Jedi, pretty much every single Jedi in the universe has been killed, or at least they're in hiding. We can't get Jedi. Okay, I'll take away the Jedi because they're gone. Give me some droids. Give me some fucking aliens. There's one droid in the movie, Guy.
Right.
And maybe I think you see aliens when there's the final attack and there's a guy who kind of looks like Admiral Akbar, another fish, a Mon Calamari alien. You got Forrest Whitaker and you got two Asian actors.
Right.
Forrest Whitaker is an old Jedi. No, excuse me. Forrest Whitaker is a Force sent by Anakin Skywalker when you watch Rebels and stuff like that, who's become sort of like an extremist. He's he wants to fight he's like the leader of the extreme guys who are if we're gonna fight the Empire, we need to start blowing shit up, what terrorists would be called today. And you got the two Asian dudes, and the two Asian dudes aren't Jedis, but they kind of worship Jedis. They live on the planet Jedha, and which is the planet that they harvest the Kyber crystals, and they protect the city that was kind of it's still like left on that planet. So they're not Jedis, but they worship Jedis. And then one of the guys, the blind one, he has willed himself so much to the point where he's force sensitive, for the lack of a better term, but he can't move shit, but he could feel shit. So even though he's blind, like motherfuckers are shooting blasters at him, and he could fucking get out of the way and shit.
Which is
like
awesome.
That. And then he repeats the line, "I am one with the Force is with me. I am one with the Force is with me." He repeats that like a million times through the movie. That part was kind of cool. But besides one black guy and two Asian guys, the whole fucking universe is white people. No aliens, no droids. And that shit pissed me off. Put some fucking money into this movie. I want to see aliens and droids. Okay, yes, it was great seeing AT-ATs. Okay, once again, another positive. It was AT-ATs, not AT-ATs.
Shut up, but it's AT-ATs.
AT-ATs. But then again, they say they're not AT-ATs. They're called something else because they have the triangular heads as opposed to the boxy heads.
Imperial walkers.
Let's settle. Without getting into a fight. Say Imperial walkers. Okay. So let's be real here. Okay. 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 Before I get to that point, in the movie, they had brought Princess Leia, who, as the night we're recording this, Carrie Fisher, the actress who played Princess Leia, had a fucking massive heart attack. I mean, luckily, I now think is in stable condition.
She's in stable condition.
As we speak, knock on wood. But, we almost lost Carrie Fisher. To make even further fuck you 2016. Carrie Fisher and Peter Cushing, I believe is the actor's name, who played the character General Moff Tarkin. Grand Moff Tarkin. Were computer generated in this movie. The CGI looked like shit. Now, mind you, Disney owns Marvel. Disney owns Star Wars. When you see, like, Captain America Civil War, and they took... Remember Robert Downey Jr.'s showing that presentation? And it's supposed to be Robert Downey Jr. as a teenager when he's having a flashback?
Yeah.
They made him look young. That looked good. In Ant-Man, when they took Michael Douglas's character, and it was supposed to be a flashback, and it was supposed to be back when, during the Hydra days, and they took Michael Douglas and made him look young. That looked good. They have the technology. It's the same fucking company. Why couldn't they take whatever they used on Michael Douglas, whatever they used on Robert Downey Jr., and use it? Because Moff Tarkin looks like shit. It looks like, remember that horrible CGI movie, The Polar Express? Tom Hanks' Polar Express. It was directed by Robert Zemeckis.
Polar Express wasn't that bad though.
But it looked bad. It was almost the CGI was so bad. It was scary.
Okay. So I did see the ending of the movie. So I did get to see
the Princess Leia.
Both of them. The general, wasn't so bad, but Princess Leia, I kind of went,
yeah, what the fuck?
You have footage of her from A New Hope. You couldn't have taken that footage, made her image a lot more clearer.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And here's even more of a bitch. You have Carrie Fisher. You have her still alive. You could have had her there, CGI'd everything, and then it probably would have turned out even better.
Yeah.
Why did you not do that?
They copped out, had her with the hood on, and just you never see her face.
Right.
Have the guy hand her the data tape. Here you go, princess, and you just see her hands holding the cassette. The whatever, the data disc or whatever the fuck it's called. I would have. And they said, look, you could have this ugly, bad CGI version of Carrie Fisher, or just the back of her head and a cop out. Where I would have taken the cop out in a heartbeat. Tarkin. Unfortunately, Tarkin was in the movie a lot more. He was in the movie a lot, and once again, they had said they should have made that where Tarkin was a hologram, like make him all the parts that they needed to have him with, have him as a hologram, so then you could kind of get away with him looking shitty because it's a hologram,
right?
And not because his teeth didn't look right, his eyes didn't look right, his mouth didn't look right. you know, and you're surrounded by human beings, and he's supposed to be a human being. It's not like you're watching Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter or something, where it's supposed to be something that looks like a monster. This is supposed to be like an ugly old dude, but he looked like a monster, and it just didn't look right, and it looked like shit. Okay, let's fucking be real. The whole point of this movie was to see Darth Vader kick ass. You know, the biggest argument a lot of people had about the prequels, you know, when people heard about the prequels, they're like, oh, you know, we're going to see Darth Vader be Darth Vader. You know, we're going to see what made him the scariest motherfucker in the galaxy. And we got it. We got about a minute and a half's worth. All right, so first, there's a part where the high-ranking Imperial officer visits Darth Vader on the fucking planet where Darth Vader fucking got turned into Darth Vader, the fucking molten lava planet. He built a castle there. Oh, no, that's actually in the books. In the books, in the extended universe, before the Disney buyout, the story was Darth Vader built a castle on the planet Mustafar, that's where he got all fucked up on, and that's where he keeps his headquarters. One, nobody's gonna come fuck with him because he's surrounded by lava, and two, it keeps him filled with evil because he's like, this is where I fucking turned into Darth Vader. This is where I'm gonna build my own personal castle.
That's weird.
So that was cool. The guy comes to visit him, and then and I'm like, Darth Vader doesn't look right. Darth Vader doesn't look right. Darth Vader doesn't. What the fuck is wrong with Darth Vader? Okay, one, I don't think the actor. I think whoever played him wasn't as tall as oh shit. The actor that played Darth Vader in the movies, the guy in the suit, had to be taller than whoever played him in this movie,
right?
Because this guy did not seem as tall as Darth Vader is supposed to be. And it took a while for me to figure it out. It was the way the cape is with the helmet. Real Darth Vader, or should I say Darth Vader from the original trilogy, the cape latches right on the bottom of his helmet. Not on it doesn't isn't on the helmet, but it sort of latches there, and the helmet kind of keeps it suspended over the rest of his shoulders and stuff like that. In this movie, there was the helmet, and then the cape was like tucked in under the helmet. That shit don't look right. That looks like bad fucking cosplay. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then one of the biggest scenes which is in the trailer, where Darth Vader kind of turns around. He's force choking the guy. The Admiral comes to visit him or whatever, and he's force choking. You see, as he's turned around, the helmet is all fucking out of whack. But one, we never really see Darth Vader turn like that in any of the movies, but the cape is supposed to be coming out from the bottom of the helmet. If that makes any sense. Look at scenes from episode 4, 5, and 6, and you'll see what I'm talking about. The cape doesn't go under the helmet. When the cape goes under the helmet, it doesn't look right. So they got a short guy, they got the fucking cape wrong. It's fucking Darth Vader. But, they gave us a minute and a half worth of Darth Vader tearing shit up, going down a hall, fucking slaughtering fucking, throwing guys against the wall, having a guy come towards them and fucking slice them in half with a fucking lightsaber. Okay, that like minute and a half kind of made up for the entire prequel trilogy. That's what everyone wanted to see. When they said, "Oh, we're gonna make movies that happened before Star Wars about how Darth Vader became Darth Vader," we wanted to see Darth Vader tearing motherfuckers up, slaughtering motherfuckers in a hallway like we did. That minute and a half was the only fucking redeeming quality of the whole movie, and everyone and that seems to be pretty universal. Everybody says that's the best fucking scene in the movie. Yeah, but it took an hour and a half or however fucking long before we got to that point to fucking get to it. A whole boring hour and a half.
I think you're nitpicking just a little
Yes,
bit.
I'm nitpicking.
You're nitpicking just a little bit there.
But this is my
But here's
stage
here's where I'm going to push back at you. Whenever we've seen Darth Vader in the newer trilogy, and this happened a lot in Empire Strikes Back, there was that one scene where the one Imperial guy comes in, and Darth Vader's helmet's getting lowered down and everything like that. For me, maybe that was just one way that Darth Vader had his cape on. I'm not going to nitpick about that. Okay? I'm not going to nitpick about, shut up! Shut the fuck up, okay? I'm sorry, but you're nitpicking.
Can't take the
you're
most
going,
evil
listen to
guy
me,
in
listen to me.
the galaxy.
Listen to me. If you're bitching
and fuck
about
up his costume,
if you're bitching about a cape being tucked in the wrong way, I hate to tell you this, but you're losing your fucking mind and you're being too nitpicky. Okay, that's twice. That's
supposed
two.
To watch this. I'm watching the scene and it's like. I'm watching. I'm like, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right. Why doesn't it feel right? And it's like, that's why, because the cape is wrong.
Yeah, but you like to nitpick at things.
Yeah,
okay,
but-
you hate. I hate to tell you this, but you're looking for things that nitpick you.
Yeah.
And okay, fine. Let's say maybe, and I haven't seen the movie yet, but maybe Darth Vader is shorter than what he's.
David Prowse. That was the name of the original actor.
Okay,
It
so
took me a
maybe he
second.
is shorter.
Uh-huh.
What do you care? Like it's
It
Darth
doesn't
Vader.
look
the
right.
Listen to me. The last scene makes the movie. Okay, I saw that scene. He just lays the smackdown on all those fucking rebels and kills them all. You know what I love is when they here's my first of all, they just destroyed their own base with the Death Star, which I thought was awesome.
Which by
the way, I know that's gonna be your bitch about they had a smaller laser this time. Whatever, fuck, I don't care. Listen to me. It would make sense that the Death Star has different cycles of laser to do things. Okay,
Yeah.
it makes sense if they. And by the way, if they're gonna here's my one bitch, because I heard this while I was watching this. They're like, oh, another ship is hyperspace is just jumped out of hyperspace, and there's the Death Star. I'm like, maybe show the Death Star going to hyperspace. Maybe show that. People would like to see that. No, we're not going to show you that. Come on.
Well, I think
that's my bitch. If we're going to be picky
I don't
about,
think the Death Star could ever good. I don't think the Death Star could ever actually go.
think back to that scene. Think back to that scene before the base is destroyed, and before they send up the info. You hear one of the Imperial cruisers, not the Imperial, one of the Rebel cruisers. That I think that one main ship. He says, and I quote, "Another ship is dropped out of hyperspace," and then it's from the view of on the planet. You know, like you see the moon or every. There's the Death Star. So it's like, oh shit, the Death Star just dropped out of hyperspace. Like, because remember, the Death Star doesn't just move at like a snail's pace. It comes into systems.
But I mean, it moves. But
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, if it does have hyperspace ability, why not show that? That's where my bitch comes in.
Yeah, I don't.
But here's the thing, like the coolest scene in that, to me, in that ending, was right after those two died. The base gets destroyed, they get killed, which I kind of went, well, that's kind of fucked up. And then, I mean, because think about that, you just fucking sent the plans, and now you're like, oh fuck, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
Like I would have like tried to dig myself a hole or something. I don't know.
Get in a refrigerator or something.
Something. I don't know. I would try something. But here's. Then you go to the fucking Rebel fleet's like, we gotta get. All right, turn around. Let's get the fuck out of here. All of a sudden, boom! They smack into Darth Vader's Star Destroyer. Hyperspace is in, and they smack into it. I was like, that's hilarious. And they surround them and finally destroy them. And I'm just sitting there going, that's awesome. And I kind of like the scene where, and again, I mean, we're being spoiler free here. Might as well. They have that little circular space station that's orbiting the planet, and that one ship pushes the other Star Destroyer
That was cool.
into the other Star Destroyer, causing them just to blow
Hammerhead
up.
Corvette, yeah.
And then they fall into the station and blow it up. I thought that was pretty cool.
That was
okay. Definitely really cool.
Yes, I would
and
give you
you know,
that.
I gotta say, like, all that right there, like, and yes, that whole, it's more than a minute. It's probably about 5, maybe 10 minutes. It's between 5 and 10 minutes where you just get like all this good Star Wars goodness in one scene, and you're just like, okay.
The ending was good because they
And
had to close all those loops to the beginning of Star Wars Episode 4.
Right.
As I'm saying, the whole, I mean, yeah, okay, but I mean, yes, the fucking, the coup de grace, the fucking, the top of the top was watching Darth Vader slaughter those people.
Right.
But then that kind of led into, okay, now we have to close the loop and get us into Star Wars Episode 4. So yeah, that's good, but the guy had the work cut out for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he goes, oh, okay, all I gotta do is just put these people right here, and put that right there, and that right there, and Darth Vader coming down the hall, and, you know, and get Princess Leia there. That was the easy part. The part where they gave him free reign was boring. Not the part where he's lining up all the pieces to fall in George Lucas's movie.
Well, okay, so the thing that I was talking to you about before this whole thing, and again, I have to watch the movie. I'm sure I'm probably going to enjoy it.
And the funny thing is,
I'm probably going to like it.
I want to watch it again.
I'm probably going to like it more than you are, honestly. But here's where it pisses me off. So those of you, when I was a kid, there was a game that came out. It eventually turned into Jedi Knight. It was called Dark Forces because it went Dark Forces, then it went Dark Forces Jedi Knight, and then it's Jedi Knight 2, and then whatever. Great games, loved them.
Yeah.
And they should have had those on PlayStation and that too. But so the first mission on Dark Forces is you infiltrate the base that has a Death Star plans, and then you take them to the rebels. Why did we all of a sudden decide to change this concept?
Oh, remember it's
not canon. It's not canon. I get it. But again, why did we take that? Why didn't we, when this was for 10, 15, 20 years, whatever, we had this, and you could have used this. You could have actually taken this, and that's what I would have loved them to do. Take this Dark Forces story and develop it into a couple movies, because here's the thing, you want to differentiate yourself and put a trilogy out that's different from the trilogy that you're following. Great. Dark Forces. You get this guy, he steals the Death Star stuff, and you follow this storyline. I mean, that was when that, I can't think of what it was. It's Dark Stormtrooper. I think it was what it was. It was like a machine, and it was just it was this really fucking deadly stormtrooper that if you didn't have some fucking good weapons, you weren't gonna fucking live. And you didn't have, in that first one, you didn't have a lightsaber. You weren't even a Jedi. You had guns. You had whatever.
Han Solo type.
Right. So, that would have been a great story for a first movie. And then you could have done the sequels. You could have shown how and in that first movie, you show, the glimpses of, okay, something's not right with this guy. Maybe he's a Jedi and he doesn't know he's a Jedi yet. Because that happens a lot in these movies. And then you develop this, and then you could have gotten, you could have had this huge storyline, and now you got a guy that leads into that force where, because in Jedi Knight 2, he actually fights at one point with Luke Skywalker, because Skywalker has the Jedi Temple, and he trains him a little bit. So, and in the second one, you fight one of Luke Skywalker's, disciples that he trained, but the guy turned to the dark side. He has a very bad time, it looks like, about this. So, I think that would have been a great thing to not only do this and go to A New Hope, but you could also lead it into the newer trilogy that you started. You know what I'm saying? The one thing that I besides the bad CGI, the one thing that I read, and I think it was on comingsoon.net, was how they were talking about how now what this movie did is it actually, because it used to be 1, 2, and 3, now it's 4, 5, and 6. Which way you think of it, 4, 5, and 6, we'll just say for context. That is actually now basically the story of basically those people that are in the background that you don't know about, that you don't see. This is that story. This is how that whole trilogy started. So in actuality, the ending of this film is the beginning of A New Hope and that trilogy. I mean, you would agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And they're telling the story of this crew that pretty much gave their lives to get these one simple plan to this space station.
The dominoes falling
right.
That starts episode 4.
Right. So what I'm saying to you is this wasn't necessarily supposed to be, I don't know, what would you say is the best movie in the whole trilogy, all the 70s, the sevens.
Well, the best movie is The Empire Strikes Back.
Okay, so let's say it's not. This is not supposed to be The Empire Strikes Back. This is supposed to be
A New Hope.
This is supposed to be New Hope Part 1. This is supposed to be the prequel to New Hope. If there were a trilogy, if there were 2 movies that were connected, it would be these 2. And I do agree that Leia needs a little makeover.
Yeah, the CGI.
And by the way, George Lucas did 3 or 4 special editions of the first 3, or now 4, 5, and 6. What's to say he can't go back and correct that? I can see that.
Do you remember George Lucas has nothing to do with this anymore? Now it's all.
Oh no, I know he doesn't have anything to do with this. I'm sure he likes the movie, and I'm sure he likes that it sets up for this. Yeah. But again, what I want to see is them kind of. I just want them to kind of do what they did with Empire Strikes Back. The one scene that always annoyed me, I think it was Empire Strikes Back, where Darth Vader is kneeling on that pad and I guess that's the kind of hologram pad so that he turns into a hologram when he talks, and then obviously the Emperor talks to him. That one scene that always fucking I don't know what the hell they did. Like, it looked like they just put like fucking shit all over somebody's face, the guy's face that played the Emperor. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that was
where in that hologram, you're just like,
what's wrong with his face?
What the fuck is wrong with his face? Like,
that was the original.
And here's what
which they fixed in the special editions. But go on.
No. The first special edition, they didn't. And that pissed me off. Because I'm like, of all the things you could have fixed, you didn't even fix this scene. I wanted to fucking strangle George Lucas. I'm like, I had a rant about, what the fuck? I'm like, you.
Why does he have golf balls glued to his face? I think like his eye looks all like stretched out and shit like that.
Yeah, it's so weird. I'm like, and because you see him in Return of the Jedi, and you're like, wait, what? Like, what? Who is this? Where's the blob guy that I saw in the fucking hologram? I'm like, what? I'm so confused. And so then they did it. See, because what it was, the VHS ones, that was this first special edition. It wasn't fixed there. The ones for the DVDs, all of a sudden it was changed. And I think probably fans were like, same thing with me. We're like,
fix that shit.
Hello, like, come on, fix it. So that's kind of like where that's kind of one of those things where maybe they should go back and kind of put some layers on it or do something, whatever they got to do. And I'm sure they will. They probably will. But I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see it myself. I want to see what happens in this, because this is definitely going to be kind of like the one story that is going to be different than the others. Because, you know, if these other Star Wars films do well, we could see a trilogy out of that Han Solo thing. I could obviously see Boba Fett turning into a trilogy too, because obviously this is probably going to go from, it was episode 2, so it's probably going to go from episode 2, you know, after his father died, you know, go from there, and then another one, and then leads into where he's, you know, you see him there in Empire Strikes Back. But you know what I mean?
The movies, those are going to be anthology movies. Where
right.
Now, I don't know if in the movie itself it's going to be like 3 different stories. Like I'm using 3 as a random number. As in, like, the movies are like, okay, here's Boba Fett right after his father got killed, and then it kind of like advances to like where he's like late teens, early 20s. Here's Boba Fett now, you know, doing his first bounty, you know, and then maybe you could even end the movie with like, here's Boba Fett after he fell in the Sarlacc pit or whatever the case may be, you know, like. You know,
we'll see. I mean, we'll obviously see what's going to happen.
And then, you know, when he was a kid, or when he was in his late teens, early 20s.
Well, when he gets hired,
he figures out how to escape a Sarlacc or some shit like that.
When he gets hired by not Boba Fett. When he gets hired by
Darth Vader.
No.
Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba the Hutt.
Oh, okay.
Because that's where all those bounty hunters came from, was Jabba the Hutt, because the Empire contacted him.
Yeah.
But the reason why they went along with it is because they wanted Han Solo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he, in his late teens, early 20s, that's when Jabba hires him for his first job before the Empire. Right. You know, like, and then like he does the job and it's like, oh, you're so good, you know, I'm going to start hiring you out more or whatever. You know, but then like when he does that job for Jabba, he learns how to escape the Sarlacc. So even though we think he's gone, he's not really gone. You know, and I think, you know, they got the Han Solo movie, and then, you know, a Boba Fett movie. They're playing with the idea of a fucking young Yoda movie, but so yeah, you know, they're gonna milk the shit out of it.
Here's another thing, and I'm pretty sure that they're gonna do this too. What I would like is kind of a movie in between Episode 3 and Rogue One, where we get to see the rebellion kind of come together.
It's called Rebels.
No. Well, I mean, Star Wars Rebels kind of has that thing, but we don't see, like, for example, we don't get to see them get the plans to the X-Wings. We haven't seen that yet. I don't think we've seen that. No. Do they even have... No, they don't have X-Wings yet in Rebels, do they?
I don't watch. I haven't watched Rebels enough to know.
I'm gonna have to take a look, but
there's early versions of it in like Clone Wars. I know that.
Well, I mean, it shows up in certain games too. But what I want to see is I want a movie where it's canon, where they actually steal the X-Wings. They like different, because there's obviously different alliances that come into the Rebel Alliance, and then all of a sudden now, you know. And they have because you gotta. There's got to be something that made them legitimate, because the Empire, obviously, any Empire is just gonna sit there and be like, "Oh, look at these people. We already killed the Jedi, so whatever. They're just gonna be whatever. They'll come at us. We'll kill them. They'll be fine." You know, there's obviously some. That's what happens in every single in every single event. There's a single event, like every single thing. There's a certain event that happens that causes them to take them seriously, and that's when this whole thing comes. That's when the rebellion versus the Empire.
Lets the Empire know, okay, the rebels are serious.
Right. So that's where I'm looking for. I was kind of hoping that they wouldn't. I was kind of hoping that Rebels wouldn't do the whole Ahsoka versus Darth Vader thing. They did do that. And we don't even know if she's dead. We think she's dead, but we don't know that.
Yeah.
Which is, but I would have loved to see on scene. Don't tell me you wouldn't have loved to see that on screen where it's Darth Vader versus his apprentice from Clone Wars. That would have been awesome. You got to admit that.
Well, let me tell you,
she's not even a Jedi. She's not even a Jedi.
If they had Ahsoka show up in Rogue One, I would have fucking came. I
love you. I really do.
I'm saying this. I don't care how boring the beginning was. If they had Ahsoka show up in this movie, and this would be like her last stand, and Darth Vader kills her, I would have fucking got up from my chair and fucking clapped. You know what I'm saying? I said, you've linked. I mean, yes, they had little nods to things here and there, but if they brought Ahsoka and we saw a live action Ahsoka, I wouldn't even know what to do. I would have, my head would have fucking exploded. I would have said, okay, the first hour and a half could be boring. I don't care.
But see, here's the. Oh, I guess we're supposed to wrap this up here. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna be happy to. It's gonna be interesting to see what this is all about. So.
Yeah. Now, once again, and you kind of mentioned it, and I actually slipped my mind, but I'm glad you mentioned it. One thing I was bitching about before this podcast, which I'll bitch about right now, and I'll make it quick. We were led to believe in Episode 4 that when we see Death Star finally blow up Alderaan, that was the first time they were ever using the laser. I don't know. I got to go back and watch the movie, and maybe I was wrong. But in Rogue One, they blow up a couple of cities on a couple of different planets. But then, they kind of mask it by going, oh, we're going to use the laser, we're just not going to use it at full power. Meaning that when we finally see it, they use the laser in Episode 4, it's because they finally use it at full power, and they've only, when they used it in Rogue One, it wasn't at full power. I think that was a bit of a cop-out. It kind of because it kind of takes away from when they used it in Episode 4, where it's supposed to be that big, grand, look how big our dicks are, we're going to blow up a whole fucking planet.
I mean, I think, especially that end scene there, that last 10 minutes, I think it makes sense, because why are you going to destroy a planet when it could possibly destroy all the other ships that are yours right there? You know what I mean? So I think that probably makes sense.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, I could have been, it would have been, I don't know, it kind of takes away from when we see it in Episode 4, that's supposed to be the first time they use it. Oh, well, they used it before, they just didn't use it at full power. Okay, so let's wrap it up. That's what she said.
And that was the end of the Star Wars round.
That was the end of the Star Wars round. We literally spent an hour talking about it. Please visit twostrangersonepodcast.net, where you can find all things show related. First and foremost, you can find links to our iTunes page. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the episode, our iTunes is still going strong. Unfortunately, since we've reset and changed our servers, you can't find the old episodes. But our most recent 6 or 7 or 8 episodes are available on iTunes. If you don't have an iPhone, an iPad, or an iPod, you can find us on the Stitcher app. That's STITCHER, the Stitcher app. It's the app that I use to listen to all my podcasts. I put it on the listen later option.
You can do it on the SoundCloud app.
I'll get to that in a moment. I put it on the listen later option. I put it on listen offline option. So when I'm in a Wi-Fi spot like Paul's house or McDonald's or the public library, I can get all my episodes and listen to them later where I'm not killing the data on my phone or killing my battery, because if you're using data, it kills your battery faster. Not, if you're using Wi-Fi, it doesn't kill it as much. And I listen to it later. And like Paul had mentioned, you could also download the SoundCloud app for your phones. So, like on Stitcher and on the SoundCloud app, you can listen to us. And of course, you subscribe to Paul's other baby, the Toonami Faithful podcast.
Oh, thank you. You're so nice.
And I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of other, but I'm pretty sure all the major podcasts are also up on SoundCloud. But you can subscribe to us there. Please visit us at facebook.com/twostrangersonepodcast. We want your money. we need your money, but if you can't give us a dime, it takes 2 seconds to share and like us on your page, share this episode, share the whole page in and of itself. Any cooperation like that would be greatly appreciated. And I do have an Oscar letter that I'm just going to read real quick. Because Oscar, he was waiting for us to come back, but he goes, if I hear purposefully one more time, what the fuck, I painfully put on the Toonami Faithful podcast to try and fill the void of your lack of consistent programming. To my joy, Paul and Darrell were on the episode I decided to play. Much to my horror, the long and meticulous speak on some cartoon that I would never watch. To hear grown men dissecting a fucking cartoon is so sad. I had to bail out. Damn you guys. Sent from my iPhone.
You'll be okay.
Alright, so I had to get that out because I just to be fair, he sent us a letter. If you would like to write us a letter, you can write to us at twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. That's all spelled out, twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com, and write to us just like our lovely fan letter that we just got from Oscar. If you... Okay, like and share us on Facebook, write us. We're on Twitter at @StrangerPodcast. We're on SoundCloud. Like Paul said, we're on the SoundCloud app, but you could also find SoundCloud on SoundCloud.com. We're in the Google Play Store. So once again, if you have a device, an Android device, and for whatever reason you don't want to use the Stitcher app or the SoundCloud app, you can find us in the Google Play Store. I can't think of anything else off the top of my... Oh, what am I saying? We're on Facebook. When we're on Facebook, I am uploading Facebook videos, so you can watch them there. Or, for the episodes, if you want to go back into our from all the way to day one, over 4 years ago, worth of podcasts, you can go to YouTube and search for Two Strangers One Podcast and listen to every episode. Along with that, you can see my videos, my Stranger vlogs, which I have about like 2 or 3 that I haven't uploaded yet. But I'm going to. With the new job, I've been so fucking busy. And so if you want to listen to old episodes of Two Strangers One Podcast before the ones you see on SoundCloud, you can check us out on YouTube. Search for Two Strangers One Podcast. I can't think of anything else. Acquiesce the floor to you, sir.
All right, so you can find me on Twitter at Paul Pascrillo. You can ask me questions at ask.fm/Paul Pascrillo. You can Instagram me, instagram.com/Paul Pascrillo. And, of course, you can email me. It's paulpascrillo@toonamifaithful.com. And I can talk to you. Ask me questions. Bitch at me, Oscar, on Twitter, where I can mutilate you seriously. Come to Twitter. I'm sorry. I just had to get that out, too.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
I'm easy. Hey, I'm easy here.
We certainly hope you guys enjoyed listening.
Don't take that the wrong way.
We certainly hope you guys enjoyed listening and had as much fun as we did recording. Thank you for listening to Two Strangers One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
Don't be a stranger.
Peace. We're out.
Bye. Yo, should be fapping.
See you next year.
Fuck you, 2016. Fuck you right in the ass. Did you see the video of the guy jerking off in front of the cheerleaders?
I did see that shit.
You should be fapping. That guy just took it way too literally.
Yeah, stop telling him to do that shit.
Bye.
All right, here we go, man. Go ahead. You want to read
Double Jackpot.
What is it?
It is a self-published book by Christopher Cologne.
Chris Cologne? Smells good to me.
But
look at her. That broke that fucking cold little exterior. He's like, hee.
But it is spelled Colon.
Him punny.
But Double Jackpot is a book about a comic book artist, Eric, who is in a loveless relationship with a materialistic
I feel you, Eric.
Lynette.
Oh, fucking. Are you sure I didn't write this? Sounds hauntingly familiar.
He starts cheating on his girlfriend with a more creatively supportive woman, Nadia.
Well, I gotta meet her. Where's the Nadia?
There's your summer girlfriend.
Summer Nadia is Nadia.
Nadia?
Yeah, I think Nadia is spelled with an A.
All right.
Both Lynette and Nadia play the double jackpot, the largest payout in lotto history, much like the recent Powerball. Both girls play his birth date as the winning numbers. Eric is now stuck between two of the country's richest women. Who will he choose? It's not that simple. This is a clever fucking idea,
yeah,
man.
Is.
Look at her, fucking. She's impressed.
I am.
She got some summer reading. Christopher Cologne smells real lovely with an original idea. This is. I've never heard this before.
I haven't either. This is a self-published book, much in the indie spirit as Kev's Clerks.
Oh, you don't even need to name check me. This is just a good idea. You could stand on your own, man. You don't even have to be like, hey, remember Clerks? This is nothing like that. This is way more original than Clerks. This is a good idea, man. Why didn't I think of this?
I need something to read. This book is part of the Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games Trilogy Book 2. Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, coming soon.
Right on, man. It's part of a trilogy. This is the first part.
Way to write, man.
He's seeking a literary agent. Motherfuckers, anybody out there? There ain't no literary agents listening to this show, I assure you, sure. Sure. I assure you, sure. But somebody know a literary agent? Hook a motherfucker up! Chris Cologne come up with an original idea. I should tell Raskin, that's a good fucking idea, to be honest with you. That's a fucking rom-com right there. Megan, get Raskin on the phone. Isn't it possible to get Raskin on the phone? No?
Yeah.
I want to run it past him, man. I want to, and if it happens, I get a taste, Chris Cologne. I get a whiff, if you will.
The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com.
That's lulu.com.
I understand that. I just want to spell it out.
Normally one says it, that spells it. Still, lulu.com. What is that? Do you know what it is?
I don't know. All right. The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com. Search for Double Jackpot Christopher Cologne. A paperback version of the book is $15 and a PDF file is only $5.
$5 is
Yeah.
insanely inexpensive. 15's not even that bad for a paperback version.
No.
This is $1 million idea right here. Like a movie about a dude who fucking is stuck between two chicks, both of who play his birthday and win the lottery. Come on! I can see that trailer. Chris Cologne is on to something. Nobody else can smell it but me.
I'll read it.
Thank you. I'm going to make that smelly joke.
I know. You're trying to get me to laugh again.
It worked once. Double Jackpot is a self-published book by Chris Cologne, man. It's the first book in his Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games trilogy. Book 2, Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, should be coming out soon. Get all the information at Chris Cologne, like a motherfucker.
I will
his
totally
book,
read this.
Double Jackpot. I'm serious. I'm going to recommend that to fucking Raskin. How is that not a movie? You know what I'm saying? This could be a sexy movie. You could do an R-rated version. There could be nudie in it, and you could show them fucking both chicks. Maybe a little penetration. Maybe a butthole shot. No butthole, no care.
I would like to formally apologize to Christopher Cologne right now.
No, sex sells. Chris Cologne will appreciate that. He's like, thanks for throwing a few buttholes in there, man.
Don't forget to check out twostrangersonepodcast.net, your one-stop resource for everything show-related. You can find links to subscribe to us on iTunes or on Stitcher. You could also find links to buy my book, Double Jackpot, on twostrangersonepodcast.net.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.